What if the foundations of modern banking were not built in glass skyscrapers or government offices, but inside cold stone fortresses guarded by men in armor? What if the first truly international financial network was created not by merchants or monarchs, but by monks who had sworn vows of poverty? And what if their destruction wasn't the end of their system, but the beginning of ours? Nearly 1,000 years ago, Europe faced a problem that seems simple today, but was life-threatening back then. How do you move money safely across continents? In the 12th century, wealth was not digital. It was heavy silver coins and gold pieces stuffed into bags. It clanked when you walked. It attracted thieves. And if you were traveling hundreds of miles across hostile territory, it could get you killed. Pilgrims journeying to Jerusalem faced this risk constantly. Trade was growing, travel was increasing, but financial security barely existed. Into this unstable world stepped the Knights Templar. Founded around 1119 after the First Crusade, they began as a small military order tasked with protecting Christian pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land. They were disciplined, deeply religious, and highly trained warriors. At first, they were not wealthy. They depended on donations and support from European nobles, but they possessed something far more valuable than gold. They had credibility. People trusted them. And trust, as history repeatedly shows, is the true foundation of finance. The Templars gradually developed a financial solution that would quietly revolutionize commerce. Instead of carrying coins across dangerous territory, a traveler could deposit money at a Templar stronghold in Europe. In return, he would receive a coded document acknowledging the deposit. That document could then be presented at another Templar location in the Holy Land where the funds could be withdrawn. No heavy bags, no obvious wealth, no bandits listening for the sound of silver. It wasn't an ATM, of course, but the principle was astonishingly modern. Money could move without physically moving. Value could be transferred through institutional trust and written record. This was a major leap forward in economic thinking. And here's where it becomes even more interesting. The Templars didn't operate in just one city, they built a network. Their fortified complexes stretched from England and France to Italy and the Eastern Mediterranean. Each location functioned as part of a larger system. Deposits made in one place could be recognized in another. Records were kept carefully. Accountability mattered. In an age of fragmented feudal politics, they had created something close to a multinational financial infrastructure. That network gave them influence, and influence attracts power. As the Crusades continued, wars became expensive. Armies needed armor, horses, weapons, and constant supplies. Kings frequently ran short of funds, and when rulers need money, they turn to those who have it. The Templars began managing royal treasuries and providing loans. They handled state finances. They safeguarded precious assets. They financed campaigns. Think about that for a moment. A religious order had become the financial backbone of medieval Europe. But power always creates tension. The Templars were granted extraordinary privileges from the church. Papal decrees exempted them from many local taxes and placed them directly under the authority of the Pope rather than national rulers. That meant kings could not easily control them. They were wealthy, armed, independent, and internationally connected. Now imagine you are a monarch struggling with debt, watching a powerful organization inside your borders operate beyond your authority. How long would you tolerate that? By the late 13th century, the political environment had shifted. In 1291, the city of Acre, the last major Crusader stronghold in the Holy Land, fell. The primary military mission of the Knights Templar effectively ended. They still possessed immense wealth, land, and infrastructure, but their original purpose had weakened. To some observers, they no longer looked like humble defenders of pilgrims. They looked like a financial empire without a clear mission. And that made them vulnerable. King Philip IV of France faced severe financial strain due to costly wars and economic instability. He owed significant sums to the Templars. Eliminating the order would remove his debts and potentially allow him to seize their assets. But openly attacking them would be dangerous. Their reputation was strong. Their religious status protected them. So Philip chose a different strategy. If you cannot defeat an institution militarily, destroy its reputation. On Friday, October 13, 1307, French authorities arrested hundreds of Templars in a coordinated operation. They were accused of heresy, corruption, and immoral conduct, charges that shocked much of Europe at the time. Many confessions were extracted under torture, raising serious doubts about their validity even among contemporaries. Trials dragged on for years as political pressure mounted and public opinion slowly shifted against the order. Eventually, in 1312, Pope Clement V formally dissolved the order, bringing an official end to one of the most powerful institutions of medieval Europe. The decision marked a dramatic turning point in the relationship between financial power and political authority. The most powerful financial institution of medieval Europe was dismantled. An organization that once commanded enormous wealth, international influence, and widespread trust was suddenly erased from public life. Its military strength, economic power, and global network collapsed under the combined pressure of political ambition and religious authority. Yet the disappearance of the institution itself did not erase the ideas and systems it had created. But here is the twist that history rarely emphasizes. Destroying the organization did not destroy its financial model. Officially, many Templar assets were transferred to the Knights Hospitallers, another religious order. In practice, significant portions of their wealth were absorbed by European monarchies and noble families. Their lands were redistributed. Their financial expertise did not vanish, it migrated. Their clerks, administrators, and methods influenced emerging banking centers in Italian city-states like Florence and Venice. In Florence, banking families refined multinational branch systems. They coordinated accounts across cities, allowing merchants and rulers to manage wealth across long distances with greater efficiency. They developed more advanced bookkeeping techniques that improved financial accuracy and accountability. They combined commerce with political influence, strengthening their position within both markets and government institutions. The structure felt familiar because the concept already existed: a network of trusted financial nodes connected across borders, built on reputation and institutional reliability. Centuries later, international banking dynasties would adopt similar branch-based models. Trust, cross-border accounting, institutional secrecy, and coordinated financial networks became central to global commerce. Even modern central banking systems rely on structured networks of confidence and record-keeping that transcend individual borders. The lesson becomes clear. The Templars didn't invent modern finance in its entirety, but they demonstrated something crucial. An organized institution built on trust can move wealth more efficiently than armies can move territory. That insight changed everything. And if you think this is just medieval drama, look around today. Trillions of dollars move daily through digital systems that depend entirely on institutional confidence. We rarely carry physical cash across borders. Instead, we rely on networks, banks, payment processors, clearinghouses to record and transfer value. The mechanism is more advanced, but the principle is the same. Trust replaces weight, record replaces metal, network replaces wagon. So what truly ended the Knights Templar? It was not a battlefield defeat, it was political fear. When financial power grows strong enough to challenge sovereign authority, confrontation becomes inevitable. Their destruction was less about religion and more about control. Control of capital, control of debt, control of influence. History repeats this pattern. Financial institutions rise, they accumulate trust, they become indispensable. Then political forces attempt to regulate, absorb, or dismantle them. The dynamic tension between money and authority never disappears. The Templars proved that controlling the flow of capital can be more powerful than controlling land. Kings understood that, and that is precisely why they acted. In the end, the Knights Templar as an organization vanished. Their leaders were executed, their symbols were erased, but their structural innovations survived. The idea that money could move across borders through trusted institutions became permanent. Their network dissolved, yet the networked financial world continued to evolve. So the next time you transfer money internationally, consider this. The logic behind that transaction was born long before computers, before corporations, even before the Renaissance. It emerged from a medieval order that understood something profound about human society, that trust, once organized, becomes power. and power, once concentrated, reshapes history. If this video changed how you see money, power, and history, I'm glad you watched. More hidden stories behind the world's biggest systems are coming soon. Make sure to like and subscribe.